My name's Hanya. I'm a freelance makeup artist and I do mostly weddings. I've been freelancing now for Delilah Cosmetics for just over 3 years, and I travel all over Scotland and do like these kinds of events and training. I'm going to do something a little bit more glam. My style is very natural, as you know, I am very natural makeup, but just do something a little bit more glam, just to show you about like winged liner, a bold lip. I'm going to do eyes first because it's a little bit more glam, and if we get any fallout in that, it's a little bit easier starting with eyes first. I'm going to do the eyeshadow sticks. These are so easy to use, they are really good. Always put something on first. These are good though, the sticks are good first because they're quite creamy, but I do like to put either a primer or a concealer. You don't want to use anything that's too creamy though. Some like concealers can be, they're so creamy and they're just going to move it all around. It's going to settle into the creases. I'm going to use this under the eyes too. It's a cream, but it's also good for a primer. So I'm just going to put a little bit on. It's really good. It's not like a colour corrector as such, but it's actually quite good. It's refreshing as well. It's not like a concealer, but you can use it on your own if you don't want any like concealer and that on. I use it a lot on its own because I don't like wearing a lot of makeup, but you know, if you're going out, you want a wee bit more on. Dabbing it on under the eyes first. And now I'm just going to gently put it over the lid. Always use your ring finger when you're doing anything around the eye area because it's more, you're not using as much pressure. The eye area is so delicate. Before you do any concealer, it's always good to have something under your eyes or on top of them because you need something as a base and it's going to stick to it. Especially under the eye area. If you were to go in straight with concealer and not put anything under it, it's going to go really dry and cakey. It's the light coloured eyeshadow stick. I'll show you. They're really good to use. They're really soft. Always warm. Have you got the there's a different one. They come in a pack as well. You can get them in the wee pack. I'm just going to start with this light coloured. It's kind of like a nudie colour, and it's just going to go on as a base. So I'll show you. Always warm it up first. So it's all over the lid, just as a wee base. And because we've already got something on the eyes, the wee eye perfector, it's helping it. See how smooth it's going on. Take it into the inner corner. Again, just your ring finger and just blend it out. Don't need brushes, and you can use a brush if you prefer, but it's a lot easier just to go in. And the warmth of your finger as well, it just makes it blend a little bit better. And again, concentrate in the inner corner. We get a lot of darkness in our inner corner. You want to kind of make sure you've got that covered. Set it with like just loose powder. They've got loose powder there, but I'm just going to use the eyeshadow. That really light colour at the top, I'm going to use that one because it's a similar colour to start with. Just to set it all, just going to stop any creasing. Some are matte and some are shimmer. Shimmer's nice if you keep it maybe in the inner corner or on the centre of the lid. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep it close to the lash line. So we're going to start, but I'm not going to take this all over the lid. You could, if you wanted to go for quite a dark smoky eye, you could take that quite high up and blend it out if you wanted. You could do that. I'm not doing that yet because we're going to do a bit of a wing liner. I'm just going to keep it near the lash line. So, and again, I'm just doing that with it. I'm not trying to be, I'm just doing little like scribbles at a time. Start at the outer edge. You want to keep more of it at the outer edge. You don't want a lot in the inner. And it doesn't matter what it looks like, it just gets close to the lash line as possible. Don't take it all the way in. And then I'll go in with a little brush, so a little flat brush like that, and I'm just going to blend it out. Whatever's in the brush I'll take into the inner corner, so you've got less product. You don't want to have too much in that inner corner. It can sometimes, if you've got it too thick in here, it's going to really close your eyes up. So you want a little bit more thickness at the outer corner and less as you're going in. Build a little bit and put some into the crease just to give a wee bit of definition. So I'm starting at the outer corner, bringing it up, and then I'm just doing a wee kind of C shape there at the ends there. It doesn't matter how far out you go because we can tidy it up. That's why, again, we're doing eyes first. If you make any mistakes at this point, it doesn't matter. And I think it's trying not to be too perfect. I think we're all like, we're trying to do it in one swoop, you know, like I'm going to do it in one go. We're not. Some people can. I have seen people do it like, oh, in one go. It's very difficult. Just bring it up to the crease. So that's right above yours. So if you open for me and see above the eye there and you look straight ahead, yep. That's your crease there. So it's all going to be different in different eye shapes. So if you're looking straight ahead, your crease is in there. And that's why it's quite good to do your eye makeup if you're doing a bit of smoky eye or something a bit more with your eyes open. And then I can see now where I need to go. I need to go a little bit higher just for your eye shape. Whatever's left in the brush, I'm bringing in a little bit. And we're going to go back over with shadow, a wee C shape in the outer corner of the eye there. And open for me. You can just rest the brush into your crease and do the work that way. Rest your pinky against your cheek and hold the brush like that, and you can kind of get a bit more, what's the word, a bit more control over it. and just nestle it into that area and let it do the work, rather than coming like that angle. And again, when you're coming at that angle with the brush, it's a bit different the way you're going to have a big splodge of it, whereas you've got less on the brush at that edge, if that makes sense, and it's going to be a bit more controlled. I tend to go for brown, but because we're doing a wee bit more of a glam look, I'm going to go for the black. Very, very fine kind of wee point. Warm, this is when you do want to warm this up in your hand first before you do anything with it. So you're going to just do that. Look how creamy that is. That is really creamy. You can go in with this or a brush. It's entirely up to you what you prefer. I tend to use two, so I'll start with the eyeliner in my hand and then I'll use a brush to finish it off. Just close for me. Wanting to get in as close to that lash line, and I'm starting similar to what I've done at the beginning with the brown. I'm going to do this. You're getting right in. I'm starting at the outer corner. I'm lifting and I'm just doing little strips along. I'm getting as close to that lash line as possible. You will need to lift that, even just using your finger, and just lift your lid a little bit just to get into the lash line. But doing little strokes like that, don't try and again do it in one go, just do tiny little strokes as you go along. And with your eyes open, so again, I'm not even going to do anything to you, I'm just going to leave it like that. So with your eyes open, what you want to do when you're doing a wing liner, you want to follow that bottom lash line up. So you really want your wee wing to start from there. So you keep looking ahead, looking straight ahead. You'll need to keep your eyes open for this as well. Look straight ahead, take the eyeliner and follow that bottom corner, outer corner, and just follow it up. It doesn't, again, you're not going to up direct, you're just going to follow it naturally. It doesn't matter what it looks like, chunky, it doesn't matter at the moment, we are going to fix it. Different eye shapes can get away with different kinds of wing. Your eye shape's similar to mine, so you don't want anything big. You wouldn't have a big wing because as soon as you open your eyes, it's going to disappear. So see how I've just followed that bottom lash line literally up. Again, not worrying about how tidy it looks, what it looks like, because we're going to tidy it up. I want to connect it, so there was a wee bit missing in the outer corner, so I'm just literally taking this pencil and bringing it down the way, and I'm just connecting it. And there's nothing on the bottom at the moment, but we've started bringing it up just to get the shape and where to start from. It just gives you a good starting point. If you just follow that bottom lash line up a little bit, that's a good starting point. A lot of the time as well, our eyes are different shapes slightly, so it's hard to look in a mirror and get it right, but if you're following your lash line, if you're following that natural shape, you're going to get it right. So we're already starting to get that shape. Don't worry if you do it and you're like, oh my god, it's a mess. It doesn't matter because you're going to tidy it. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. I think they get too caught up in making it perfect the first time, and if there's anything goes wrong, they're like, oh, I've taken it all off. You don't have to. You can work around it. This is where you want your tight lining is going to come in really handy here. This is when you do the upper waterline. I'll show you kind of what I do on people to give you an idea. So if you just look down for me, so you're lifting your eye up like that. It looks weird, I know. You're lifting your eye up and you're going in here. Just little strokes at a time. Don't do it all in one go. Keep stopping. Don't try and do it in one go because your eyes are going to stream. You're going to need a mirror in front of you to do it. You're going to have a mirror. You're going to have to lean I think if you're not comfortable doing it, lean your hand on a table and you're going to have to lift your lid up, look down and just gently do it. There's no easy way of doing it, but it's just taking your time with it. It's going to make a huge difference. If you really can't do it, some people just can't stand the thought of it, you need to get as close to that lash line as possible. So you need to look down and lift up, but go any gaps without going underneath. If you feel you can't do that, just do similar as if you're going to do it and find any little gaps and just keep going over it with an eyeliner until you cover up all the gaps. And it's important what you use. Never use a liquid in that part. You can use it on top, but never ever use a liquid in your waterline, top or bottom. It's just the worst thing you can do. It's quite dangerous. Make sure your pencil's soft. Some of them, the ones you sharpen, they can be you've got to watch. Some of them can be quite draggy and they're not going to be comfortable at all. So something like this is perfect because it's soft. Make sure you're using something soft. You can use gel liner in that. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that again because it's more watery than a pencil, but people do use it. So it depends how you can get gel eyeliner pencils. I would use that, but I wouldn't use gel out of a tub to do my top waterline. But people do it, so there's nothing to say you can't. But I just personally wouldn't. Any bit of skin that you can see, any bit of an eye, we want to cover that because that's going to give that more dramatic look. Dark shade here. So or a black, actually just going to build up on what we've already done. I'm not going to do this in the upper waterline. I'm not going to put powder in it. That's not something I would do either. That would irritate your eyes, putting powder in it. Also going to set the liner. If we weren't to set it with anything, it could transfer a lot and go quite, it'll end up all smudgy. And I'm gently pulling up here just to show there's any bits. Sometimes when our eyes like that, you don't see the bits that are missing. You know, there might be white bits that we've not like covered. So if you just stretch it, you can quite often see, right, I need a wee bit in there. You kind of get to see it. So sometimes just stretch it a little bit. Brush, like the one we've just been, very fine, angled brush, and you're going to take some concealer and you're just going to tidy it up. You need something, you can use like a, you know, you get these like cotton buds, but they're really fine. They're really good for this as well. They're really good, but you need something with a wee angle like that. And you're just going to come up underneath now, where you feel like it's a wee bit thicker. I'm just doing that to start getting that little bit of a point to it. We're starting to get a better shape because we had too much under here, so we're just finishing that up. Very much trust the process thing, because at the time you're like, it doesn't look right, but then once you, you know, it does, it just comes together. Anywhere that's a bit thicker, a bit longer, whatever it is, you need to do a bit of concealer on a brush like this and just start tidying it up. And if you're tight lining, do mascara after. Always tight line first. You can use a bronzer as well for the crease if you prefer, or if you only got bronzer, you can use a bronzer. So again, just looking ahead for me. So now I'm just going to give a wee bit more definition. Starting on the outside though, and then taking it in, because most of the product you want to keep on the outside, but because it's a wee bit more dramatic, yeah, I'm taking it further in. But there's less product as we're going in. You want to keep all the product on the outer edge. When I've done that, I also like to take a brush that's got nothing on it, just to blend it out, because it can be quite harsh at first. If your skin's prepped well, like you've got, it makes a huge difference. The skin prep, exfoliating, as Angie was saying, is really important, because foundation is just going to cling to everything. This is amazing. It's so soft, this. Tiny amount is all you need. You don't need a lot. I'm going to use the foundation time frame, but I'm going to mix it in with a little bit of illuminator. More youthful, and we've got a little bit more hydrating, something a little bit more like glowy. This is the hydrating mist. This is really nice. So I use this about 3 or 4 times when I'm doing a makeup. So I start with a setting spray. It's kind of like a setting spray, refreshing spray. So once we've got the skin done, before we do anything else, even though we've done eyes, but before we put foundation on, we're just going to give a wee scoop. And this has got a really nice, it's a really fine mist. Some setting sprays come out and they're like shoot out at you. This is really fine. Testing your shade can be tricky. In a shop it's a nightmare because the lights, it's not, you need natural light, and this is a really good light because I use this, it's more of a natural daylight. You're really, what I do, it's a wee bit different because I'm doing for brides, because a lot of them have dresses and that you can see this area, but a good tip is test here. This is where you should be checking. A lot of people just do there, do here. So I've got 2 which I think, that'll be too light, that'll be too dark, but I'm going to mix 2. I'll try them. So all you need to do is get a little bit. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of this here. And what I'm looking for is, when I'm blending it in, is not to see it. Down there. It does look quite dark at first, I do think it is, but once you blend it out, if it blends really well and you can't see it, that's what you want. Face depends as well, it can be a little bit darker or a little bit lighter to this area, so it's good for that area, but it's a little bit dark here. Always test on here and there, and in natural daylight. So that one I can't even see at all, so that one actually is a better one. It's really good for more mature skin and younger skin. These are really nice. Now you can wear this before you put foundation on. You can wear it on top of foundation. You can wear it mixed in with foundation, or just to like the high points of your face. It's really good. I'm going to mix it in with the foundation just to give it a little bit glowier look. I love it. It's called the Radiant Elixir. It's kind of like an illuminator, but it's not glittery. It's not over the top. You know, some of them can be quite like almost childlike. This isn't. So I'm going to use this brush. Is amazing. See the shape of it? This is a Delilah brush. This is actually a really good brush. I find it hard to find a brush for foundation. I like to use sponges as well, but for a brush, it's difficult to find one that's really good. It's got that shape and it just fits to your face really nice. I'm just dabbing a little bit of it on. I'm not going to use it all to begin with. And I'm dabbing it out first because it's too much if you go straight on the face with into that and that. So you want to dab it out. Start with less and build it up. That's my tip. Bring it down your neck as well, onto the ears. You want it all just to blend seamlessly. Good important wee tip is that when you're using the brush, bring it down the way, because sometimes if you're pushing it up against any like fine hairs and that, you're pushing it up, and I find it's going to cake in that. So always bring it kind of down the way like that. Use your wee brush, and if you're using your fingers too, I think that's a good wee tip. Starting in the centre of the face. We tend to have more redness and that in the centre, so you kind of want to focus it on there. I don't tend to use foundation under the eyes. I use concealer. And the good thing with this foundation, it doesn't oxidise. With some foundations, I think I said that before, they oxidise. There's some brands, they go really dark. So you start off normal, you know, I think that's nice, and by the end of the day, you're like, whoa, what's happened? You get into your hairline as well, right up into there. I find if you're wanting more coverage to use a damp beauty blender. I sometimes do that, so I'll use a brush first, and then for a wedding, because you want it to last all day, I'll then go in with a damp beauty blender, because the skin has been prepped really well. That's made a big difference. It's just sitting on perfect. This is amazing. I'm not going to use it because this is great for day to day. It's so easy to use, honestly. It's like a crayon, and I love this. I use this all the time, and it's very creamy though, so if you are wearing a lot of mascara, you will need to powder over it, I would say, because if you've got anything on your bottom lashes, it's going to transfer it. It's that creamy. I don't powder over it, but I don't wear mascara on my bottom lashes. Good wee tip. So something as well you might find, if you're going with a concealer that's too light under your eyes, it can sometimes go grey. I don't know if anybody notices that. They ever have that. The problem is then you've maybe got too much darkness under your eyes, and you've got to colour correct first. Don't go 3 shades lighter. I would only go 1 shade or maybe 2. A concealer is just put it where you need it. A lot of times I think it's a habit just to put it all over your whole under eye. If you don't need it everywhere, don't use it. Anywhere where the darkness is, that's where you're going to put it. You don't need it all over. These are really good as well because you've got the wee doe foot applicator things. Obviously for hygiene I can't use it, I'm just going to use it in my hand. This is a really good one if you want a little bit more coverage. Use your fingers. I'm just going to use a wee brush. Not putting too much product on your face straight away, you just want to blend it out first. I'm just going to concentrate on the inner corners. Don't want lots of product under your eye area because our eyes, they're going to shift, our eyes are going to move, we're going to crease, it is going to crease, but the less you've got under that area the better. Don't put it where you don't need it. See, I'm just tapping it on that little kind of, you're coming down the side of the nose like that, and then almost in a V shape and lifting it up at the edge like we did before with that concealer to tidy it up. You want to lift it up there. Again, your finger's really good to use for that, so just using that, use your finger. If you put too much in the outer corner, that's where, when you smile, we talk, we get more lines or laughter lines. If you put so much product in there, it's just going to sit in there, whereas if you're putting most of it in the inner corner, that's where you want to concentrate it on and just blend it out to the outer corner. Because if I was to start in the outer corner, there'd be a lot of product sitting there, and we don't want that. Always remember the nose area. It's not an area we think of, but it's good to have a wee bit of concealer in there. This, in blush, it's so nice. It's really good. It's very, very pigmented, okay, so you don't need a lot. I'm just going to use that. And again, I'm blending it in first on my hand. So if you smile for me. I'm starting here, but you're bringing it up. Quite often we smile, we put it on the apples of our cheeks, and it's a bit lower down. As we get a bit older, we're going a little bit lower down. It's okay starting there, but lift it up. So you want to start there and see where I'm lifting it up. It does. I'm going quite high. I'm going up to here, but it's just more youthful. We go back in with the setting mist or the hydrating spray. So they've got the fine powder for under the eye area. So I'm going to show you that. That was what we were talking about when you were saying about the panda. Is it the
eyes, yeah, happens a lot.
Yeah. So do you powder under your eyes once you put concealer on?
No.
That's going to help. Powder under your eyes. It's going to set it. I don't, because again, I don't really wear mascara, but if you do, it's going to transfer under because it's creamy. You've got concealer on and there's nothing set it. So you want a loose powder, a little eyeshadow brush like that, and it's a really fine mill powder. So before I do it though, if you look up me, you want to have one last little press of everything on. So use your ring finger and see that concealer just one last time, dab it all in. Because if you've got if it's started to settle into any wee wrinkles, then you set it, you're just going to set it into the wrinkles and just pat it on. It does help set the makeup though, powder is going to help. But something like this is what you need, something fine, because if you're using anything too heavy, it's just going to sit on the skin. And again, a little brush, and I'm just using it. It's more the T-zone where we tend to get a little bit, we want to keep a lot of that glowiness on the cheeks and certain areas, we want to keep that, but we want to kind of, any sort of bits, our T-zone, maybe around our nose, anywhere we don't want to be really shiny is where you're going to focus it. It's still, you can still see the skin, like the glowiness and the dewiness. So again, I always do like cream and liquid products first, set it with powder. That's going to make it last longer as well. That's the sort of order I always do it in. This is the Sunset Bronzer. I love this. That one's a light medium. So again, putting it on there, but put it on your hand first before you go in. This is just going to have less product. Depending on your face shape is where you're going to put it. So a lot of people automatically think you put it in the hollows of your cheeks and that's it. Don't follow the rule, it needs to be in this certain bit from here to it doesn't. It's by your face shape and what you want to achieve. Highlights bringing things forward, contours taking things backwards, if that makes sense. So don't automatically think, well, you know, everyone else is putting it here, not, you don't do it, it goes by your face shape. Where I put the blusher, I kind of want to go just under that. I don't want to go too low, just above where the ear is, but again, it just depends on your face shape. So lifting it up the way. So we're just lifting it up. Don't follow a tutorial and do what everybody else does just because they're doing it that way doesn't mean that's how you would do it. And I also like to put it on the forehead. You don't have to, again, depending on your face shape. You don't always have to do it, so I'm going to put a wee bit over here. And down the nose, anywhere, you know, where the sun would naturally kind of hit is nice to have a little bit of bronzer. This one's a matte one, which is nice. And then it's quite nice as well to do it on the bottom of it, you know, like our jawline. But again, a little product and bringing it down. And it's just making sure you blend it all in. Forehead down to just for your cheekbones and then down and under onto your jawline. If you ever feel, oh, what too much, go back in with your foundation brush because that's still got a bit of foundation on it and you can just tidy up the edges. That's what I sometimes do. Just the tiniest bit on it just to blend it out a little bit if you need to. This is like a blusher, but this has got this is an illuminator powder. I love it. It's got a little bit of kind of illuminating in it. Again, it's not sparkly though, but it's so nice. Just gonna give you another wee scoosh. This is good as well for a wee refresh as the day goes on. If you get too warm on your makeup, you can just give it a wee scoosh and it's a wee nice refresher. Under the eyes, I'm not going to use the black. I am actually just going to use a shadow. So I'm just going to take this, again in that very fine brush. The bottom lash line is close to the lash line as you can get. And I'm just bringing it in like that. This is a nice wee way and connecting it to, remember before when we've done the wing, we need to connect it to something. So you just want to connect your shadow or liner, whatever you're using, to that. Going from the outer corner and bringing it in, because that's where you want less product. Got two options here. You can use a brown in it, a darker shade, and that's just going to give you a bit more dramatic kind of night out look. Or you can use the nude colour, which is going to open your eyes and give you a bit more of an awake look. So I think the brown, only because we're going for a kind of more dramatic look. So that pencil, I'm going to do that in the waterline. This is optional. You don't have, like, to me, that would be enough. You don't have to put anything in your waterline if you don't want to. But because we're doing a kind of more night out makeup, we're going to do it. Like what we've done at the top, this is much easier to do yourself than the bottom one. Just literally taking this pencil and you're going to draw on the bottom waterline. Some people do like mascara on the bottom, some don't. If you've got really long bottom lashes, you will find it is going to try and transfer, so that's when you do need powder. There is a red lipstick for everyone. I know people say there's not, there actually is. It's just a case of finding the right undertone. If you've got, depending if you're cool or warm or neutral, some are more orange based, so they maybe work with somebody who's more warmer. If you're more cool tone like me, something with a blue base, like a blue base one. This is a good one though. I think some are quite neutral that do work both, and I think this is one that works on just about everyone. My tip would be, because I know somebody had asked about the making lipstick, especially a bold colour, how to make it last. You're going to need to fill in your lip with a lip liner first, all over. You want to make sure your lips are quite hydrated and you've got a bit of lip balm or something on. They're not too dry or anything, because if you go in, it's not going to be comfortable. So, and again, this is a really good lip liner because they're soft. A lot of people overline, you're kind of looking for symmetry. I think I've said that before. So if you say your top lip's smaller than your bottom lip, you want to overline your top lip maybe slightly to make it match. There's no point in overlining all of your lips because then you're still going to have there's not going to be symmetry there. So whatever it is, if you don't need to overline, you don't need to underline, it's entirely up to you. But if a bride says to me, if she's maybe like her top lip's bigger, or I will try and even it out a little bit. That's all it's about. It's not about changing face shapes or doing anything crazy. It's just about getting that little bit of symmetry. I'm just going to follow your lip line. Some people don't have a steady hand in that, so just try and rest. I do that quite often. I'll rest my pinky there and do that. And see what I'm not trying to do big sweeps in the go, one go. I'm just doing little things. Start in the inside and work out. If you were to start on the outside, you'd maybe put too much product on to begin with, and you don't want too much at the end. So I always start in the middle and work out. So once you've applied the lip liner all over the lips, then go in with a lipstick and put that over. And a good wee tip here for making the lip last all day, especially when it's quite a bold colour, is to get a bit of tissue paper and to just take that in half and get a very fine bit of it. Put that over the lips and then get some setting powder onto a brush and then gently blot that over the tissue paper and then reapply your lip liner and your lipstick again, and that's going to have smudge proof lipstick that won't move. And just to tidy up around the edges, especially when you're doing quite a bold lip, you can sometimes get a bit messy around the edges. With the lip liner you want to really have a nice crisp line. So I just took the concealer and a really fine brush the one I use for the eyes, and I'm just tidying up any bits that need that little bit extra. I'm just tidying that up, because you do need, with a bold lip like that, you need a nice edge. And that's the finished look. I hope you like it. That's no filter and using all Delilah makeup.